Birth Story 20. Like mother, like daughter. Mom. She planned for a natural birth, achieved childbirth vaginally and naturally. GBS positive and received IV antibiotics and Pitocin post-birth. Baby number 1, Tucker. Born December 24th, weighed 7 pounds, 13 ounces. Gestation, 40 weeks, 0 days. Labor, natural onset of labor. Precipitous labor lasted just 3 hours. Schramm, and she pushed for 45 minutes. Dear Tucker, your birth was very fast, very exciting, and very unexpected. When I did your mom's prenatal visit, I had asked her about how her mom birthed. Your grandmother made the local newspaper when she delivered your mom on the bathroom floor in just a few hours. So that was in the front of my mind. Your mom conceived easily and naturally and felt great throughout her pregnancy. It was marked without any complications. At her OBGYN practice, they deliver at the main hospital and required your mom to see a different provider each time. One of the awesome parts of being her doula was that I was a constant for her and you. I was able to check in with your mom before and after each appointment throughout the end of her pregnancy and provide the continuity of care she needed. Your mom's job had her on her feet for her entire pregnancy. She stayed in shape by constantly moving her body and eating healthy. She was also diligent about doing Kegels and pelvic floor exercises. Pop out, pelvic floor exercises. All right, ladies, this is important. None of us wants to prolapse our organs or be peeing our pants when we laugh and sneeze and chase our toddlers around someday. Your pelvic floor is the muscle and tissue that surrounds from your tailbone to your pubic bone and supports your bladder, uterus, and bowels. And it is so important to strengthen them throughout pregnancy. I had a bladder prolapse, and boy, do I wish I would have done more to have prevented that surgery. I've created a guide for you on all things pelvic floor that you can unlock at birthstory.com. Before she birthed you, she climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania without training. Yet she was still nervous about her ability to have a natural childbirth. I just laughed out loud. Of course, someone who climbs one of the highest mountain peaks in the world without preparing would definitely have a natural childbirth if that is what they wanted for their body. Your mom really wanted a natural childbirth, but she said if she made a birth plan, it would be to not be quite as exciting as her own mom's spontaneous home birth. She wrote out a vision that she would arrive at the hospital with less than 1 hour to go and that the whole labor would take 6 hours. Well, I don't want to ruin the story, but in many ways, your mom is a testament that when you see it and believe it, it can happen. The power of the mind envisioning the future and releasing fears prior to birth helps to actualize the birth one wants. Your mom told me after your birth that she really believed in the influence of shutting out negative stories and just keeping focused on the birth she wanted. In the 2 weeks prior to your birth, your mom had started to feel cramps here and there. She said she was moving slower and starting to waddle a bit because you had moved so far down. She had a moment where she thought her water broke on December 10th, but she had just peed herself a little, mixed with extravaginal fluid that occurs at the end of pregnancy. This is so normal. Almost every mom has this, "Did my water leak?" moment. So your mom was not alone here. And I was not surprised at all by her texts. Her dreams were increasing in intensity, and her sleep quality was declining. At 38 weeks along, I sent your mom for an in-home induction massage. After the massage, she said she felt like $1,000,000 and that the massage was for sure needed. In her 39th week of pregnancy, not much had changed from week 38 in terms of feelings, but she lost her mucus plug 8 days before you arrived. She described it as a jelly-like clear substance that took 4 wipes to feel clean. She continued to just walk a couple miles per day around the neighborhood. Then she asked me what many moms are curious about. "Is it okay to have sex now that my mucus plug is gone?" Yes, is the answer. But I advised her to always ask her provider to confirm. I encouraged your parents to have lots of sex for the benefits of the high concentrations of prostaglandins in the semen for softening the cervix, and orgasms release oxytocin, which stimulates the uterus to contract and can jumpstart labor. Your mom worked right up until the very end. It was still a bit surprising when she was 5 centimeters dilated and 80% effaced at her 40-week checkup, which was 3 days before her guest date. She was vaginally colonized with GBS, and she considered limiting any non-mandatory internal checks. But she's a numbers person, so she got checked on every visit. She was excited that she had moved from 3 centimeters to 5 to 6 centimeters in just a week. They stripped her membranes, and she went home to deploy all the natural induction methods. When she told me she was 5 to 6 centimeters dilated before labor started, I had a feeling this would be a precipitous labor, especially after hearing your grandmother's story. I talked to your mom about going to the hospital immediately if her water broke. While possible, it is quite unusual to dilate to 5 to 6 centimeters with baby number 1 before labor even begins. We talked about how her body was having contractions and doing a whole lot of hard work to dilate to 5 to 6 centimeters, even if she wasn't feeling it. So this was a little gift she was given. A few days before your birth, your mom texted me that she was sleeping okay, but had to pee every couple of hours. Her bladder was preparing her for nursing. But this could also have been signs of uterine contractions irritating her bladder. On your due date, I checked in with your mom at 9:45 a.m. She had an appointment to be checked and to have a non-stress test at 2 p.m. We discussed strategies, including having her membrane swept again if that is what she wanted, but to be careful of her bag of water, which could rupture with the procedure. Pop out. Membrane sweeps can break water. Beware. If your provider offers to sweep your membranes, consider that a woman's water is broken accidentally 9% of the time as a consequence to the procedure. Your dad's instinct was to stay home from work that day. She said she was feeling great and had nothing to report. She had spent the morning reading her book, bouncing and doing circles on the birthing ball, folding laundry, putting on her makeup, and walking the stairs in your house. Soon after we hung up, she felt her first contraction at 10:45 a.m. Now, this first contraction was the start of active labor. After that first one, they just kept coming in a pattern. Your mom barely had time to think or figure out what was happening before the next one came. Her contractions were 6 minutes apart and lasting for 45 seconds from the get-go. I had taken my toddlers to the mall when your dad called me at 12:58 p.m. By the time birth partners call me, it is because moms can't talk. But I had just talked to her. I ran through the warm rain, which was amazing for December, and I threw my kids in the car, arriving at your house at 1:10 p.m. I found your mom sitting on the toilet with bloody show, contracting every 2 to 3 minutes. She was tense and scared and said, "I think I might be in labor." Oh my God. I looked her straight in the eyes and I said, "You are definitely in active labor." To me, she looked like she was already in transition. I lived just 2 miles down the road, so I raced home to drop off my kids and told your dad to take her to the hospital if her water broke. She felt like pushing or she had to poop. In the 10 minutes I was gone, labor progressed more. Your mom was moaning and shaking. Your dad called me and said to just meet them at the hospital. He was rubbing her feet, and he said he could just tell it was time to go. He said he was thinking, can I even carry a pregnant woman? How will I get her in the car? I mean, I'm as strong as an ox, but how can I lift her and not hurt the baby? Your mom said she had remembered me saying that I have had a few moms that had trouble walking to the car because their babies were so low in their pelvises. She said, "This is how I knew my baby was coming soon." She said she could barely walk from the toilet to the bed, and that conversation reminded her it was time to go to the hospital. She had been in labor for only 2 hours. During the car ride, your mom wanted the music way up. She was having hot flashes and wanted the windows all the way down for the December wind. She had one leg propped up on the dash and the other on the floor. My sister pulled me up right behind your parents at the front door to the hospital. I jumped out of the car and ran for a wheelchair. Your poor dad had to park his car, but somehow breezed through no security line and got to your mom just in time. In the meantime, I ran her through security and told your mom to just close her eyes. The security guard jumped on the elevator with us, and I said, "This baby is coming right now." Your mom was bearing down to push you out. The ejection reflex was triggered. I ran us down the hallway to labor and delivery, and a nurse stopped us at triage. I shouted, "This baby is coming now. There is no triage." We went racing down the hall to the birthing suite they directed us to. They let us know right away that the doctor was not there yet. Then they asked your mom to stop pushing. What? I write this with sensitivity because anyone who has had a natural labor knows there is no control over that. Your body takes over. I told your mom to listen to her body. Her body would not tell her to do something that would hurt itself. So she continued to bear down, and her water popped on the next contraction at 1:50 p.m. as her doctor walked in the room. I could see that your head had moved so far down that it was clearly engaged and well into the vaginal canal. While she was on her hands and knees in the bed, they placed an IV and administered antibiotics for her GBS status. I asked her doctor how quickly the antibiotics would pass to the placenta. He said, 20 minutes, so there may not be enough time. He told your mom they would monitor you and give you antibiotics directly if you needed them after you were born. The medical staff asked your mom to lay on her back and told her she could push there. Your mom is a warrior. She had just listened to her body and labored you down to a complete cervix all alone. She did not want to be in that bed. Her body was telling her to squat. So she got out of the bed and fell into a deep squat, holding on to the side of the bed. As the contractions came, she said, "This feels so good, squatting this way. Thank you." The nurse laid on the floor and allowed your mom to be in control of her birth as long as she could monitor you. Your heart rate was beautiful. You were calm and tolerant of the entire labor. Your mom let everyone know she would work with them and deliver in the bed, but she just wanted to be pushing you down in whatever position she wanted and was comfortable in. Everyone agreed to this plan. After several squats, your mom was pushing with the contractions very hard. I placed cool lavender cloths on her forehead and the back of her neck and fed her ice chips. We moved her to the bed with the squatting bar. We also brought in a mirror so that she could see the top of your head as you emerged. When she saw your head in the mirror, your mom started crying and said, "Oh, wow, I can't believe that is him." Your mom pushed about 2 more times with your dad by her side, and you were born at 2:35 p.m. They administered Pitocin for the afterbirth. You had a full head of brown curly hair. You were placed on your mom's chest, and the whole room rejoiced. They waited for your cord to stop pulsating, which took about 5 minutes, and then it was clamped, and your mom cut your cord. Around this time, your mom got the post-birth shakes. They were mild and didn't last too long, but I covered her in warm blankets and reassured her that this was normal. She said her least favorite part of natural childbirth was the delivery of the placenta and the uterine massage to prevent bleeding and to help her uterus to contract. Your mom saved her placenta for encapsulation. Your mom almost had an identical birth story to her own birth with your grandmother. But your mom made it to the hospital, just like she planned. You weighed 7 pounds, 13 ounces, and were 22 inches long. Much love, your doula, Heidi. To hear this mom share her birth story, listen to episode 16 on my Birth Story podcast.